Have you ever stepped outside and thought, this heat is unbearable? Now imagine that same heat melting your car tires, frying an egg on your dashboard, and turning your house walls into dripping goo. Sounds impossible. Welcome to the hottest places on Earth, where surviving the sun is a full-time job. In today's video, we're diving into real cities where temperatures soar so high, people have to wear oven mitts just to drive their cars. Places where sidewalks burn, walls melt, and even planes refuse to fly. It's not science fiction, it's everyday life for thousands of people. Before we jump straight into this sun-scorched reality, take a second to scroll down and hit that red subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss any of the crazy facts we've got lined up. And if you already subscribed, you're officially part of the coolest squad surviving the hottest facts. Ready? Let's turn up the heat. Let's be honest. We've all complained about hot days. That one summer when the fan just pushed around warm air, or when your flip-flops started to melt a little on the sidewalk. But if you think that's bad, you haven't seen anything yet. I remember spending a summer in a small town in Brazil where the sun felt like it had personal beef with me. The air was so dry, my phone overheated just sitting on the table. I legit thought I was melting. But guess what? That was nothing compared to the places we're about to show you. Because while we hide indoors with fans and ice cream, there are people out there living in cities where 50°C is just another Tuesday, where cars double as ovens, and stepping outside without preparation is like walking into a pizza oven. So next time you complain that it's too hot to go outside, just remember, somewhere out there, someone's house walls are literally melting. And today, you're going to find out how they managed to survive that insanity. Let's dive into the hottest inhabited places on the planet, starting with a city in the US that might just make you sweat from your screen. Phoenix is the capital of Arizona, and while it looks like a regular modern city, the heat there is on another level. We're not talking 35 or even 40 degrees Celsius. No, Phoenix regularly hits 47 degrees C, and on its worst days, it's gone over 50 degrees C. That's the kind of heat where shadows don't bring relief. They just trap more warm air. But here's where it gets wild. On one record-setting day, the air temperature was 40-some degrees Celsius, but the asphalt, it hit 76 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to fry an egg or melt the soles of your shoes, literally. Locals say walking barefoot is an extreme sport. You step outside and your flip-flops stick to the pavement like chewing gum. Even parking your car is a challenge, because touching the steering wheel without gloves, that's how you get second-degree burns. No joke, some people use oven mitts just to drive in the summer. The heat is so intense that city infrastructure suffers. Mailboxes warp, street signs peel like old paint, and even walls made of synthetic materials start to sag and droop like birthday candles left too close to a fire. In Phoenix, surviving summer means treating your car like a preheated oven and your driveway like lava. And yet, people live there, every single day. So why do they stay? That's a question for another video. But now, let's take a deeper look at what this heat really does to the world around them. Now you might be thinking, okay, so it's hot. Big deal. But trust me, the heat in Phoenix doesn't just feel bad, it destroys things. Let's start with construction. In many US cities, especially in warmer regions, houses aren't built with heavy bricks or stone like in Europe or Latin America. Instead, they often use synthetic materials, plastic composites, MDF, and other lightweight panels. And guess what happens to plastic when it sits under 76 degrees C sun? It melts, warps, bends like it's made of wax. There are actual photos from Arizona showing walls, entire exterior facades, drooping down like birthday candles left in a hot car. From a distance, they look like chocolate fountains. Up close, more like a horror movie for architects. But it doesn't stop at walls. Steering wheels get so hot that people leave oven mitts in their cars year-round. Some wrap towels around the gear shift just to avoid burns. And it's not unusual for people to bake cookies on their dashboards. Yes, really. Put some dough in a tray, leave it under the windshield, come back in 2 hours, and voila, chocolate chip chaos. Even outdoor trash bins have melted into puddles of goo. Paint peels from cars, store signs bubble like cheese on a pizza. In Phoenix, the sun isn't just bright, it's destructive. And what it does to objects is only the beginning. Because now, it's time to see what it does to living beings. As if melting walls and frying dashboards weren't enough, let's talk about what this heat does to everything else, especially animals and public infrastructure. Imagine walking your dog in Phoenix at noon. Seems simple, right? But the pavement, remember, is over 70 degrees. That's hot enough to burn human skin in seconds, so for pets it's torture. Many residents now use tiny protective boots for their dogs and cats. Yes, in the middle of the desert your pet needs sneakers. Street signs, warped mailboxes, bent out of shape like a Salvador Dali painting. Even metal lampposts have been seen tilting, their bases softened by the relentless heat. And it's not just man-made structures. Even cacti, plants literally designed by nature to withstand desert conditions, have been caught sagging, wilting, some even cracking open. These are plants that store water for months and stand tall under the harshest sun. When even the cactus gives up, you know it's bad. The heat affects transportation too. Asphalt becomes sticky. Cars overheat. Public transport delays happen more often, not because of traffic, but because the city is literally melting beneath people's feet. In Phoenix, survival isn't just about hydration. It's about strategy, from pet protection to vehicle hacks to rerouting your whole day around the sun. And yet, it still gets hotter elsewhere. Let's talk about a place so hot, even airplanes refuse to take off. You've heard of flights being delayed because of storms, snow, or fog. But have you ever heard of a plane being grounded because it's too hot to fly? Welcome to Phoenix, where even the airplanes tap out. During extreme heat waves, flights at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport are sometimes cancelled or delayed. And no, it's not because passengers are melting in the terminal, it's because high temperatures change how air density works, making it harder for planes to take off safely. Here's the science in a nutshell. The hotter the air, the thinner it gets. Thinner air provides less lift, which means planes need more runway space and more engine power to get airborne. But airports weren't built with melting temperatures in mind, so when it gets too hot, around 48 degrees or more, some aircraft simply can't fly without risking disaster. In 2017, an entire afternoon of flights was cancelled in Phoenix due to heat, and not just for small jets. Larger commercial flights were postponed until the sun dipped and the air cooled down enough to regain lift. It's like the laws of nature saying, nope, not today. Now think about it. We humans invented metal birds that fly across the planet, and even those can't beat the Arizona heat. But if you think this is the worst the world has to offer, think again, because we're about to head somewhere even more extreme. A place where the sun is so intense, they tried to build their own clouds just to survive. Let's head to the Middle East, to the blazing nation of Qatar. If you thought Phoenix was the peak of human endurance, buckle up. Because now, we're traveling across the world to a place where 50 degrees is just another average afternoon, where rain is a rare event, and where the government has tried to invent artificial clouds just to make life bearable. This isn't a sci-fi movie. It's Qatar, one of the hottest inhabited places on Earth. While Arizona melts steering wheels and sidewalks, Qatar is fighting for survival in a climate that doesn't just burn, it suffocates. No shade is enough. No fan is strong enough. No AC cold enough. In Phoenix, the city melts. In Qatar, the heat could kill you if you step outside for too long. Ready to see what happens when money meets madness in the desert? Let's dive into the futuristic and slightly terrifying world of heat survival in Qatar. Welcome to Qatar, a country where stepping outside during summer isn't just uncomfortable, it's borderline suicidal. This small, yet ultra-rich Middle Eastern nation is known for luxury, skyscrapers, and hosting the FIFA World Cup. But underneath the glamour, there's a brutal truth. The heat is unforgiving. During peak summer, temperatures hover around 50 degrees, with humidity levels that make it feel like you're inhaling steam. Rain, almost non-existent. Some years, fewer than 10 days of measurable rain are recorded. For most of the summer, going outdoors is like volunteering to be grilled alive. To survive, everything in Qatar is artificially cooled. Homes, schools, malls, cars, buses, stadiums, even outdoor sidewalks in some areas have air conditioning systems. Yes, the ground is air conditioned. It gets crazier. With the World Cup approaching and the international spotlight on them, Qatar unveiled a mind-blowing concept: artificial clouds. The idea? Giant carbon-based floating structures that hover over the city, providing shade and lowering the temperature by up to 20 degrees Celsius. Controlled remotely like a drone, these flying shades are designed to move with the sun, covering stadiums and public spaces. Sci-fi. Maybe. Real. Qatar has the money to try. But let's not forget, even with all this tech, people still die from heat exposure, especially outdoor workers. In recent years, dozens of laborers have died on construction sites due to heat stroke and dehydration. It's a crisis masked by climate control and marble floors. In Qatar, survival isn't a matter of preference. It's a full-scale engineering project. And even then, it's barely enough, because when nature decides to crank the heat, no amount of luxury can truly cancel the sun. And now, let's talk about those real-world consequences, the human toll, and how far a country will go to protect its people from their own environment. While air-conditioned stadiums and drone-operated clouds sound futuristic, and they are, not everyone in Qatar gets to enjoy these luxuries. For many, the heat isn't just uncomfortable, it's deadly. Every year, dozens of migrant workers suffer and die under the brutal sun, especially those in construction and infrastructure. With daily temperatures pushing past 50 degrees C, working outside becomes a high-risk gamble. In one recent year alone, over 50 deaths were officially reported due to heat-related conditions. And that's just the ones we know about. Imagine working on metal scaffolding with no shade, while the air around you feels like it's boiling. Add dehydration, exhaustion, and limited access to healthcare, and you've got a crisis hiding in plain sight. To combat this, Qatar has implemented mandatory rest hours, cooling tents, hydration breaks, and high-tech clothing that helps regulate body temperature. But these measures, while important, aren't always enforced equally. And when deadlines loom, corners get cut. The irony: in a country with one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world, survival still depends on shade and water. Extreme heat isn't just about discomfort. It's about inequality, policy, and access to protection. It's about how we adapt, or fail to adapt, to a climate that's changing faster than we can build solutions. And with global temperatures on the rise, places like Qatar may soon become the testing grounds for how humanity handles life at the edge of heat. Now let's cool things down just a little as we wrap up this journey across the hottest places on Earth. Or just still thinking about complaining the next time it hits 35 degrees in your city, after exploring Phoenix's melting sidewalks and Qatar's sci-fi cooling experiments, it's clear there are places on Earth where heat isn't just a season, it's a lifestyle hazard. From oven mitt drivers to collapsing cacti, surviving the hottest places on the planet takes resilience, technology, and a whole lot of air conditioning. But hey, maybe you're more of a winter person? Because in our next video, we're going in the opposite direction, from deserts that bake your flip-flops to frozen towns where eyelashes turn to icicles. That's right. Next up, the coldest places on Earth, and how people survive there. So if you enjoyed this scorcher of a journey, Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below telling us what temperature it is where you are right now. We want to know. Are you sweating or shivering? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Just don't forget your parka.